communication strategy. It's a structured approach to your email marketing message. As with how often you send the message, what you're saying is critically important. Now, as you get started with email marketing, it's somewhat of a baptism by fire, because if you purchase a list or rent a list, or if you're generating that list without a clear understanding of where that person is and what they're looking for, then you're going to have to do some experimentation. You're going to experiment with frequency. You're going to experiment a little bit with the communication, and you're going to have to find out what communications are getting the most open rates, which ones are maybe not getting opened as often, and start to tweak that communication strategy up a little bit. The frequency is important, but also the time of day is going to be important. Think about who you're trying to communicate with. If you're a B2C customer, you're probably going to be communicating with them after business hours, possibly later in the evening. If you're sending your messages out at 9 o'clock in the morning, there's a real good chance that you're not going to be as effective with that consumer as you would with a business market. So whether you're B2B or B2C, or if you're a little bit of both, you're going to want to segment out when you send that message so that it hits that recipient when they're most likely to be active on their email client. The one thing that you want to make sure of with your communication strategy is always, always, always stay away from Mondays. Mondays are the absolute worst day to try to send out an email marketing message. And then start your benchmarking. Start to look at what's working, what isn't working, and move accordingly. When we look at email marketing, one of the greatest success disciplines that you can have is your copywriting. Recognize that your readers are only going to scan your message to gather enough information to decide whether or not they want to go any further. The best way you can get them to start that scan is to use their personal name. Seeing that personalization is going to make a huge impact in, number one, getting them to open the email, number two, getting them to go further down the email message. Again, if you think about how you use email and how you interact with email marketing messages that you're receiving, I think you'll agree that as you see more personalization, the more likely you are to open that email message. The other thing that's critically important is that subject line, and we've touched on that a couple times today. The first 2 or 3 words in the subject line are the single most important words, so make sure that those first 2 or 3 words are communicating your offer, asking a question, or creating a teaser for the recipient. It has to make them curious as to what's inside that message. And then finally, as I've said countless times, make sure that you're using strong personalization.